and welcome to Local Lives. I'm Megan.
And I'm Michalis. We are your hosts for the day, and we are bringing you stories from the local community as we celebrate 125 years of Clarion.
Today, our guest Amanda wears two hats. She is by day a communities officer and also volunteers at our Lend an Ear befriending service. So welcome, Amanda.
Oh, thank you
for joining us.
Welcome, Amanda. Lovely to have you.
Thank you.
Before we go into your work, let's do some quick fire questions just to break the ice. So are you a cat person or a dog person?
A cat person.
What about food? What's your favourite meal of the day? Breakfast, lunch or dinner? Or brunch?
I'm a real foodie, so it's all three, really.
What type of food do you like to cook?
I'm actually trained as a cordon bleu chef, so
Wow.
I try lots of different types of food, but my children like it hot and spicy, so Caribbean and lots of curries, and I'm just interested in food in general.
Amazing, that's so cool.
And would you say you're a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, definitely a morning person, much to the irritation of my younger children.
Brilliant. Well, welcome to today's podcast. Really love to have you. Can you tell us a bit about you and your role at Clarion?
My role at Clarion is a communities officer. I work for Clarion Futures, which is the charitable foundation of Clarion Housing Group. And I actually work in the London Borough of Bromley, which has approximately 15,000 Clarion homes. So it's a huge borough, and I work in many different areas, but mainly I'm working in the areas of Mottingham, Orpington and the Crays, so that's St Mary Cray, St Paul's Cray and Penge and Annerley, and that's where we've got a lot of our homes based. And so any projects which I'm commissioning for the local communities, they're going to have lots of Clarion residents involved in.
Brilliant. So before we find out maybe a bit more about Lend an Ear, we might look back about your community growing up, and you could tell us a bit about what that was like and has that influenced your work in any way?
I grew up in Leicester, and I would consider myself working class, and I think it has influenced me because I have seen from an early age what it's like to have and to have not. So throughout my career in housing, it's all about making a difference. It's making a difference to people in general, and in my role as communities officer, it's making a difference to communities and Clarion, residents and the wider community.
Busy.
Sounds like it. So you also volunteer for Lend an Ear. Can you tell us a bit about the service?
Well, the Lend an Ear service is amazing. At Clarion, we don't want our residents to be lonely. We don't want them to be socially isolated. And I think everybody would agree, especially after COVID, a lot of people found themselves in that position. So when the Lend an Ear service was launched, and I was asked to volunteer, I did agree, and I just thought, oh yes, that would be fantastic. It's what happens is they will match you up with a Clarion resident, and you contact them by phone every 2 weeks, which is something that I do. And there's various reasons that our residents sign up for this. It might be that they're lonely and isolated. It might be that they've got poor mental health. And the person that I was matched with had just had a hip replacement, and was not able to get out and about as much as normal, and he wanted to speak to somebody on a regular basis, so that's why I got involved.
So how do you think something as simple as a regular chat has got the power to make such a difference to somebody's life?
I think it can make a difference to somebody's life because it is so regular, and it might be that there's lots of things going on in their life, and but they know that they've got somebody who's definitely going to give them a call, and it might be that they don't actually want to go out and they're isolating themselves. Through the winter it's quite difficult. I used to speak to my befriending person, and we used to say, I used to say I need to get out in my lunch hour, otherwise it's dark when I finish work, and I can't get out for a walk. And he was the same, so we would discuss what we were up to and looking forward to when the weather improved. He plays indoor bowls, outdoor bowls actually, sorry. So obviously in the winter he couldn't do that. So he really did look forward to, our calls. And we talk about all sorts of things and we laugh and it's not just a one-way street. I mean, he was telling me about like a men's walking group, like a men's walk and talk group where they met. And instead of, people meeting and having a cup of tea and being awkward and not knowing what to say, they met and then they went for a walk and then naturally that conversation would start. So he doesn't live in Bromley. And so I was able to speak to my colleague who's a communities officer, and she wasn't aware of that service, and she was then able to spread that with residents in that area. So it's not it's a two-way street, absolutely.
And what would you say would be the most rewarding part of your work then?
Making a difference, really. It's about making a difference. I've just about speaking to residents, a neighbourhood response officer had said to me that the residents in an area had received a no balls game letter and they were furious because there was nothing for children to do. So the neighbourhood response officer said, could you give these residents a call? Which I did, and I did it straight away. And they were really happy because obviously, somebody has taken time to ring them, it's personal. And they said, they'd like an after-school club, which then I was able to speak to our partner who manages our community centre there, and we got an after school club set up, and they volunteer at the after school club, and it's thriving. So it's brilliant. It's a win-win, really. So something like that, I feel we as an organisation have actually listened to our residents, but equally my housing colleagues were delighted because they said, well, it was much easier to speak to residents because they felt they had been listened to, and because of that it made their job a lot easier. So the antisocial behaviour is reduced.
That's wonderful. That's really impactful, isn't it? Yeah. So what are your hopes and aspirations for the future of your future work in communities?
Oh, that's a hard one, isn't it? Because I haven't got loads of years left in my working life. Just to keep learning. And I think in housing, I've always been so lucky because in housing I have never been bored, ever. It's always something new. It's always something different. This organisation's always changing. I'm always attending new training. It's very forward thinking. I'm always trying to collaborate with colleagues across the business. So I don't know, just to keep learning and enjoying my role and helping our residents, really.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Amanda. It's been great having you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of Local Lives, and we hope to see you at the next one.